Ever search for an invitation to a party that never came? Russia had this experience during this time. The third failure of the Treaty of Versailles is that Russia was unhappy with the treaty. As Russia had signed a separate peace treaty with Germany, they were not invited to the peace conference in Versailles. To add insult to injury, they had some land taken away from them without their consent at this meeting that they weren't even invited to. Gee, I wonder if we're going to get along. The fourth problem with the Treaty of Versailles was the League of Nations. Although the League of Nations was the main thing that President Wilson had wanted and achieved in the treaty from his 14 points, it was not popular with American lawmakers. Fears of the U.S. becoming entangled in foreign affairs and the desire to stay isolationist led to Congress not passing the treaty, and they also did not join the League of Nations. President Wilson would go on an extensive tour to try and gain support for the treaty, but it wouldn't work. Ever feel left out? You can relate to this kid in yellow. It's like Germany and Russia during this time and their views in the League of Nations. They weren't invited into the League of Nations and were isolated socially from the other nations of the world. Many members of the League of Nations felt bad about the harshness of the Treaty of Versailles on Germany, so they allowed Hitler to break it in the 1930s and did not enforce resolutions. When he began to actually invade other nations, the League did nothing and did not stop German aggression, leading directly to World War II. We'll get to that later. So in the end, the Treaty of Versailles was a bit of a loser, and it led to Hitler coming to power. And we'll have to bring this thread up a little bit later, YZOS scholars.